Hi everyone. Yesterday we read an informational text about road signs or signs that you might see outside while you're with your parents walking around or driving in a car. Today we're going to do a little bit more work on signs. If you look at the screen in front of you here, there's a target. And a target is not like the store. A target means our learning target, what we're going to practice this week. And it says, I can draw and write to persuade others. Now, there's a crayon here and a pencil here to help you remember that we're going to use drawing and writing to help persuade people. And persuade means convince. We're going to try to convince someone of something by using a sign. So here on this screen, you can see I took some pictures of a few different signs that I've seen that try to tell me something or tell people something. So if you look over here, this is a sign that I see sometimes on some of my neighbors' lawns, and that's because they do not want dogs like Hoffa going to the bathroom on their lawn. So this sign tells us to maybe stay away or maybe walk on the other side of the street. So it says no pooping zone. And then we see the slash that we learned about yesterday with the dog who's using the bathroom. So that type of sign would mean don't let your dog or pet use the bathroom in that area. Right below it here, there's a blue sign that shows hands and some bubbles, and it says wash hands. So that sign is persuading or telling people that they need to wash their hands. I know that I've seen this before back when we used to be able to sit in a restaurant and eat. We saw those signs maybe in a restaurant in the bathroom. At school, we saw those signs when we were at school together. And if you notice, there's a mix of drawing and writing. And at the very bottom, there's these little, let's let that thing move, that gray bar. You can see at the bottom there's little dots. That's called Braille. And those are raised bumps that for someone who cannot see, if they're blind or they're visually impaired, they can read sometimes something called Braille. And that's when they can read the bumps. Each bump says something different, like a different letter or different word. And so someone who wouldn't be able to read or see the picture of that sign could feel the Braille and they would know it says wash hands. All right, then over here, we have a sign from Trader Joe's. And this sign says new items. New items. So that's trying to tell us that there are new items that you can try from that store. And then you can see the items underneath with the price tag. Over here, this is a little bit of a different type of sign. I've seen these on by my neighbors who have younger kids or a driveway, and sometimes they'll put it out in their driveway and it says slow, and then it has an exclamation point. So that means people who are driving by, they know that they should slow down in that area. There's a flag too, and it's bright colors so that they don't miss it, to slow down to keep everybody safe in that space. And then the last sign is something that I've been seeing a lot. If you've had the chance to take a walk with your families, or maybe you've had the opportunity to go to a grocery store or drive to the store to pick up an order, you might see signs that say, please wear a face mask. And that's because right now we need to wear a mask when we're around other people to help keep everybody healthy and safe. So that's another sign that we're seeing a lot. So today I thought we could take some time to create a sign together. I'm going to show you my sign, and your assignment today is to create one sign that you can hang up in your house or outside of your house, somewhere around you. So right now I'm going to make my screen a little bit bigger. All right, so for the first part of our video, we looked at the screen and we had our learning target, which was to use drawing and writing to persuade someone of something by making a sign. So I have a piece of paper set up here on my little mini easel. And right now I want you to, if you need to pause, you should press pause. I want you to find a piece of paper that you can work with. Remember, it can be from a notebook. It can be an extra piece of something you have lying around that your parents said is okay to use. It can be a piece of plain computer paper or construction paper. And then you need some supplies to write with. I took out some fun twistable crayons, but you can use a pencil, you can use a marker, anything that you're allowed to use. All right, hopefully you have your supplies. If you needed to pause, you can do that and then come back and press play. So the sign, first we have to think about a sign and what we want to say. So we saw some signs about maybe staying off of grass. We saw signs about washing your hands and washing or wearing a mask. We saw signs at a store for new items that were on sale. And I was trying to think of something in my house that I could use a sign for, and I came up with a great idea. Now, Mr. Dan is working at home just like I'm working at home, and just like many of your parents and families are working at home, and we have to share our space, right? So I'm usually in this room, which is my living room, when I'm making videos. Back there, this is my dining room, and then behind me is my kitchen. Now, Mr. Dan likes to do his work down in the office in the basement. But sometimes if he wants to come up to get a snack or lunch, or if he needs to come up for something, sometimes if I'm recording something, we have a problem because that door opens, or I can hear him coming up, or he'll start talking and not knowing that I'm recording something for school. So I was thinking a sign that might help persuade Mr. Dan to maybe knock before he comes up would be really helpful in our house. So I decided that I'm going to make a sign to help both of us know when I'm recording videos for school. So I decided to make this sign special for Mr. Dan because I'm going to hang it on the door that he's by, or that he comes up. I'm going to get some colors out that I want to use. Oops, I dropped my crayons. Okay. And of course I have to take out purple because you know that's my favorite color. All right, so we're gonna practice some best guess spelling together. Remember that best guess spelling, you just have to take a chance. Being a best guess speller means you have to be pretty brave because you have to try and trust yourself and use what you know about letters to put them together to try and make words. We know that best guess spelling isn't perfect, and that's okay. It's our best guess. So the words that I'm going to write on this poster, some of them might be spelled correctly, some of them might not be spelled correctly, and that's okay. We're practicing using best guess spelling today, and listening to the sounds in each word to write them on our paper. So the first thing that I wanted to write was Mr. Dan, because I want him to know that this is a note for him. So I'm going to start with one of his favorite colors, green, and I'm going to write Mr. Now, I know how to write Mr. because we've written notes before to like Mr. Jones, Mr. Isgara, Mr. Johan. So I know that Mr. is an M and an R and a period. MR period stands for Mr. And then Dan is a CVC word, D, A, N. So I just need to have an uppercase first letter. So D would be an uppercase D, A, lowercase a, and N, lowercase n. So now it says Mr. Dan. Now the next thing I want to do in my sign is explain what we're doing. So I want to write, we are recording, so that he knows I'm with you here recording something. So I'm going to switch colors. Maybe I'll do blue. So Mr. Dan. Now those first two words in the sentence, well, let's count them. We are recording. So I need 3 words. We are recording. That means I also need 3 finger spaces. Well, 2 finger spaces and then a period. So the first word is we, which is a sight word. We is a sight word. So I know that's going to be an uppercase W and a lowercase e. We. Now, if you're not sure about your sight words, remember you still have a frog binder at your house. Check your backpack or your room and look for your frog binder. Inside your frog binder, you should have your ring of sight word cards. You also have your sight words in a big list in your binder too. So if you forgot, that's okay. Maybe you can make a word wall in your house somewhere so when you're writing, you can get your sight words easily. So we, then I need a finger space, and the next word is R. Now, R is another sight word, and I know it's A-R-E. A-R-E. So now it says, Mr. Dan, we are, and then I don't have enough space here, so I'm going to go to the next line, and we're going to have to really use best guess spelling for the word recording, because that's not a sight word. So I'm going to turn this way. All right, ready? Recording. All right, so now we're going to write the word recording. So I have e, k, k, k. Now that could be a C or a K. I'm going to use a K. This might not be right, but that's okay, right? Oh, my mouth went like this, so I think there's an O and then an R. Record, recording, Sometimes best guess spelling can be a little silly. Your brothers and sisters or mom and dad might be going, what are they doing over there? Because you have to keep saying the sounds to yourself so you can try and hear which letters to use. So I have Mr. Dan, we are recording, period. Mr. Dan, we are recording. And now I'm going to say, please wait. So the idea is that while the sign is up, I'm trying to convince Mr. Dan to just wait a couple more minutes until the sign goes away, and then that means I'm done recording and that we're done recording. So now I need to write, please wait. Now some of you might know how to spell please, but remember, we're going to practice doing best guess spelling. So this is a new sentence, so it's going to be uppercase, p, p, p. Please, finger space, please wait. I should have counted that. Please wait. So 2 words in that sentence. Please, finger space, wait. Now this though is a sight word, or is a CVC word. It's nonsense. This says wat. Now there's a rule that we've talked a little bit about. If you put a magic E at the end of a CVC word, it will make the vowel of a long sound. So if I put an E here, now it would say wait. So without the E, it's wat, at. And with the E, it's wait. Please wait. Period. So now let's read the sign and make sure that it makes sense. Mr. Dan, we are recording. Please wait. I think that sounds pretty good. The message, I think, is convincing. We're persuading Mr. Dan to please wait. The only other thing I think that would help is maybe if I had a picture too. So I'm going to use my purple crayon, and I'm going to draw a computer because I'm using my laptop. There's my laptop. And then I'm going to draw, there's me on the screen. And then maybe I'll draw some supplies, right? Like a sheet of paper, my pencil. Oh, I'll do my Heggerty book. If you remember, my Heggerty book has the spirals, but it's blue, so maybe I'll color that in blue. Okay, and my computer is black, so maybe I'll shade this in. Okay, so now it says, Mr. Dan, we are recording, please wait. And then I have a couple of details to help him, or if it's a sign for someone who maybe doesn't know how to read yet, pictures always help. And then now I'm going to take a piece of tape and tape this on the door for when I'm recording, and then it'll be a sign that lets Mr. Dan know that he has to wait for a little while until we're all done. So I would like to see you make a sign today. Now, if you're not recording, it probably doesn't make sense for you to make a sign for that, but maybe you want to make a sign about washing hands. Maybe you want to make a sign about being quiet while you're reading. Maybe you need a sign for outside. If you have plants growing, maybe you want people to be careful where they're walking so that they have to keep the plants safe. Maybe you want to make a sign saying thank you to your mail carrier, and you can hang it on your mailbox. So you kind of have some freedom to be super creative today making a sign, and I want you to maybe try to convince or persuade someone to do something or not to do something. But any sign you make, I will be so happy with, as long as you're using your best guess spelling and just trying your best. All right, I cannot wait to see what you come up with. Remember, you can use any type of paper, any writing supplies, markers, pencils, anything you have, you can make it work. Bye, kindergarten.